Welcome to Aquarian Anarchy, ladies and gentlemen. Squirrels and acorns. I don't know. I'm just making shit up at this point. Welcome to a special edition of Aquarian Anarchy. We are awaiting our very special guest, Josh Smith. He will be with us shortly. He's working. He's got all those mouths to feed. He's trying to get a little work done, and then he'll be in here very shortly. So we expect to have him in the studio in the next 10 or 15 minutes. But in the meantime, I am Chad. You see Marcus and Nico. You know the deal. We're going to get into a whole bunch of stuff. We're going to get into some discussions about libertarianism, the Libertarian Party, of course, always anarchy, and from our perspective. Thank you, Marcus, for putting the banner at the bottom and reminding me to tell everyone, don't forget, 2 shares to speed the spread. Like this episode, share it with your friends and family. I know they're going to want to watch it. Especially now that I'm growing out this goofy beard that my son says he says I look too girly when I have my face shaved, so I've started to try to look a little bit more like Marcus, trying to grow my Santa beard out a little bit. Also, don't forget, go to our Patreon. We have several awesome patrons there, and we would love to add to the ranks. Also, at the $5 level, you get to join our Anarch chat, where there's some really good conversations going on down there. Stuff about arming yourselves, protecting yourselves, getting ready, planning food. Marcus has been working his ass off in his garden all weekend. I did that a few weeks back. It gets a little warmer down here earlier in Louisiana than it does in Indiana. Nico, have you started on your garden yet?
Yeah, no, I started it. I have my strawberries planted. I had to go help my my aunt with the door for her raised bed garden. So I'm going to be helping them plant over there as well. So I got some gardens working on.
Excellent. Anything producing yet, or you just did it recently? I don't know how cold it is up there.
You know what's hilarious is that I had kale planted last year, and
really?
It survived the winter, and it's grown back already.
Nice.
So
that's awesome.
I think I might have some kale tomorrow.
That's badass. Yeah. So that's what we're all about. Like I saw somebody saying earlier today, Ian Miles Chong posted some shit with like Trump and Ron DeSantis sitting at a table together, and he's like, they will save America. And I was like, hero worship is what's going to doom America and has been dooming America for decades. Save your fucking self. And with that, I'll also remind everybody to go to our Teespring store and buy some merchandise. We have really cool shirts. Marcus is wearing one right there. There you go. But without further ado, I will bring our guest into studio. I'm going to drop you down here, Marcus, and I'm going to have our guest up at the top there. What's up, Josh? How you doing, man? Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks a lot, guys. I'm very happy to be here. Thanks for having me on, man.
Yeah. Well,
welcome.
We were just talking the other day. You had one of your shows with one of our good friends, Hotep Jesus, just a few days ago, and we were talking about that before we came on here. And so I don't know. Besides that, and apparently working your ass off today, what you been up to?
Same old, man. I decided to start trying to promote liberty a different way. That's why I started the show Break the Cycle recently, because I got 7 kids in the house now, including one granddaughter. So
he has a Patreon. Give him money.
Yeah, have a Patreon. Give me money. But this is your guys' show, so let's give them money first. Then come bring me some money.
I was about to say, shit, man. Like, come on. So is that trickle down economics? If we get paid first, and then we tell them to pay you?
Yeah, I think so. No, I think that's it's mutual aid, buddy.
It's mutual aid. That's right. Yeah.
No, so I'm still an at-large on the Libertarian National Committee. I decided to drop out of the chair race because I don't have time. I needed to be here for my family, and so I decided to start the show. I've been trying to start the show for a while, really. I mean, I started doing it as an audio podcast over a year ago. I put out 4 episodes in a year. And I was just not very happy with it.
You know what they say about podcasting: consistency is key.
Exactly. Well, I always wanted to do it as a video, as a live stream. I wanted to do it as a show with video and stuff, but I didn't know how to do it. I'm not a tech guy. I'm a total boomer when it comes to tech stuff. And so I actually recorded those audio casts on my phone. Through Anchor, and I put them out, and they were totally scripted. It was really crappy. I wasn't a big fan of it, and I do better off the cuff, and
It's hard to do that.
Yeah, I sounded a lot like a robot. I scripted out 20 minutes worth of content, and it was not good. So I got kind of frustrated and gave up, and then life happened. We had the baby back in on New Year's Eve.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Got custody of my daughter, her two siblings that were going to go to foster care. We got them. My girlfriend my fiance now already had two kids, and then we had the grandbaby in March. So I mean, it was like, I went from being a bachelor living with my best friend in a 3-bedroom track house in the East Bay area in California to living in Iowa with 7 kids in 1 year. So,
wow.
So there's a lot of changes, and I just didn't really have time. But then, I was like,
you don't want to bring them with you to all the LNC meetings.
Exactly. I'm actually this coming weekend I'm speaking at the Missouri State Convention. I'm one of the speakers there, and I'm like, all right, guys, we're only going to be gone 24 hours. Everyone relax. You're going to be okay. But no, so I, a couple months ago, I was like, all right, I need to start doing the show, especially because if you do a show well, I mean, you can bring in extra income, and with as many kids as I have and Julia not being able to work because we have so many kids, I've been putting in back to back 12-hour shifts every day. I think I've had 6 days off in the last like 40 something days, and they're all 12-hour shifts. And so I wanted to start doing it. So I started watching YouTube videos, man. And I watched probably 100 hours of YouTube videos on the tech, the audio stuff, the video. I got a DSLR camera, and I was like, well, I can't use a cam link because it doesn't do clean. I started really getting into it. But I remembered that I had traveled around for the last 4 years and met everybody in the movement. And I was like, I got some big names that owe me a couple favors. And so,
so I know that feeling.
Yeah. So I started getting people together. I put together this great list of guests. I got people like, obviously Hotep Jesus and Dave Smith and Scott Horton and a great list of people. And
awesome people. Yeah. Great people.
And so the show's going really well, man. We hit like 2.2 thousand followers or something now, and it's only been 6 weeks or something.
And, doing better than we are.
Yeah, but like I said, I had to leverage the work that I've done over the last 4 years.
Sure.
But I'm really happy with it, and I think it's a good way for me to do what I was doing without having to travel all over the country all the time, which is what I was doing before. I mean, I spent 4 years on the road. I went to 40 states. I spent 2 weeks on Adam Kokesh's bus. You know what I mean? It was wild and it was fun, and I wouldn't trade it for the world. But now I have to be planted and rooted here with my family. And so, that's the path that I took. And I think it's a good idea. I think people are enjoying it. So,
well, let's talk about that a little bit. Cause that was, you had like a lot of different things. Cause I know the feeling like of, and Marcus does too, I'm sure. Nico, you're lucky because you're young enough that you haven't gotten sucked into the libertarian whirlpool that is all these conventions and all this other stuff. But you have your own thing with like your family around there and like your new job and all that stuff. But like trying to balance those passions and commitments and like your desire to like help in the liberty movement, help set people free, with this other responsibility that you felt like a calling to shoulder, where like how did that whole process go of like trying to figure out how you could make it all work and not burn yourself out?
Well, I think the show is a big step towards that, but I mean, I got to be honest, I was burnt out. I mean, a year ago I was already getting burnt out. I had just traveled so much, and it was like every weekend I was flying out. Every Friday I was flying out. Every Sunday I was flying home. I was working 5 days a week. I was flying out Friday, flying back Sunday. It was just constant and never stopped. And in fact, before COVID shut down, I was going to do another 20 or 25 states for the convention season last year. But so I think it was like state 12 when I came to Iowa. I was the keynote speaker in Iowa, and that's where I met Julia. And we whirlwind fell in love. And then she drove the next 2 weekends later, I was the keynote speaker in Illinois. She drove up and spent the weekend with me, and I flew home. And I was living right outside of San Francisco in Oakland, and they're getting ready to put this 24-hour lockdown in place at midnight. And so I call her. I'm like, yo, I got all these airplane tickets I can't use now because they shut down all these conventions. I'm going to come back to Iowa, and I'm going to just quarantine for 2 weeks with you. Well, so I got a ticket that day. I left at 11:55. The 24-hour lockdown started at midnight, and I came to Iowa with one suitcase. One.
Wow.
And I never. It's been a year and 2 months, or a year and a month, and so, I was still trying to do what I could as an LNC member, but things were changing rapidly, like I said, and I was really burnt out on all the traveling, and it was nice to kind of have roots and just be planted. And then we got my daughter, and that really changed things. And so I think the show is the biggest step to that. And then, of course, I'll still do whatever work I can as an at-large on the national committee. And I'm still going to go speak in Missouri this coming weekend, and probably a couple other Midwest states too. Because the good thing about living in the Midwest is you can literally drive anywhere. Everything's in 10 hours away. So, so I mean, that's how I decided to combat it. I was like, look, I can continue doing the work that I'm doing, and maybe make some profit off of it too, because I am a capitalist and I do need to get paid, and I do have all these kids to take care of,
Sure.
and still continue my work. And in fact, maybe I'll build a bigger platform than I had before, and be able to bring more people to our ideas. And so, I can do this. This is my basement. I know it looks like a studio because I decorated really nice, but it's my basement.
I love the neon sign, man.
Yeah. What topics do you genuinely talk about on your podcast?
So just general liberty topics. I'm still planning to do some solo shows. I've done like 2 or 3 solo shows. One show I always try to do 2 different topics on my solo shows. So like my first one, I talked about the imminent Iranian war, with Biden at the helm, and then obviously it was the 27-year anniversary of Waco. So I talked about the Waco siege, really broke down the documentary behind it, and how we all got lied to by the ATF. And then the other one I did a segment about them trying to cancel Bill Burr. I did a segment about Ross Ulbricht, who I think doesn't get nearly enough media, needs way more media.
For sure.
And other political prisoners in that segment as well, and so Julian Assange and Edward Snowden and who else did I talk about? I talked about somebody else too. Anyways, so that kind of stuff. But then when I have guests on, I try to direct it, in a way that is going to work for the guest too. Like when I had Hotep on, I really wanted to talk about his tech stuff. I don't think, he talks about a lot of liberty stuff recently, but I think the tech stuff was really cool to get into, and kind of some of his views, and the Hotep movement, which I think a lot of people don't know what that is,
Sure.
And when I had Dave Smith
what
on,
is that?
Well, I know. What is that craziness?
He explained it. He broke it down to me pretty well. It's like,
I'm joking because I'm wearing the hat and I've got the banner behind
the
me.
banner, absolutely.
And that's how Nico and I met. Actually, that's how he became part of the show, was through the Hotep Nation chat.
Well, one of the Hoteps online this week called me an honorary Hotep, so I'm going to roll it.
Hey, dude. Yeah. Hey, dude. We have called, at least I've called us the Anarch wing of the Hotep Nation for going like. For probably about 9 months now since we interviewed Hotep Jesus, and for sure.
Speaking of the 2 weeks I spent with Adam Kokesh, let's talk about a little trip I took to Indiana once.
Oh shit!
Right.
Man.
It was good times.
Get ready, Nico. They're going to talk about naked white people.
Dude, so Adam's like, okay, man, this is the deal. Okay, we're gonna leave Ohio. We're gonna drive to North Carolina overnight. You're gonna drive. I just drove the bus the whole time. Right? He basically got a free bus driver, but I got a free ride everywhere. Yeah. And so we went down to North Carolina. Then on the way back up, we stopped in Kentucky, stayed some time in Kentucky, and then he's like, okay, we're going to go to this thing called Elf Fest in Indiana, and we're going to meet Marcus there. And I'm like, what the fuck? And so we show up, and it's this place called Lothlorien in the middle of the forest. I don't know, what was that, Eastern Indiana or something?
Like South Central, but
yeah. I mean, we're talking like in the middle of the forest, right? And there's just all these naked hippies with like angel wings on everywhere you look, and like elf ears, and there's like a huge fire pit and all this stuff. And I'm like,
Marcus been talking about this, man. He's trying to invite you down there.
I just never like really compartmentalize like naked people with like elves. I thought they were just
it gets even better. So these people are like, there's obvious communists there, okay, and we're handing out Adam's book Freedom to these people. Right? I'm like, it's the most bizarre thing I think I've ever been through in my life, but it was a blast. I had an awesome time. It was so much fun. Right. They had this big like I don't know, like Mad Max looking like steel thing built over this huge outdoor fire pit area with sand, and people were playing drums, and I was like, yeah, I'm vibing, dude. This is cool. I like this a lot.
Like Burning Man.
It was like a mini Burning Man in the middle of the forest. That's exactly what it was like. And so I haven't really talked to Marcus a whole lot since then. So I wanted to say thank you.
You're welcome.
That was an awesome time. It's one of those memories I will never forget for the rest of my life.
That's good. The Lothlorien is an experience, and he's right. There were outright. I mean, not going to get into my issues with some of these people, but what was funny was, yes, he's right. There are outright communists there. But there's also people we met. Josh was there. We met someone who knew Milton Friedman personally. Yep. And
was it Arnold Schwarzenegger?
No, this was some lady. I don't even remember her name. And so it really is a hodgepodge of different people. And what's funny is his experience is actually pre-festival, because the real festival doesn't start until Friday. You're right. This was like Thursday.
That's right, because we only stayed one night, and then we woke up the next day and drove pretty much straight to Omaha, Nebraska from there. So it was one night. We were only there one night. We came in early afternoon, stayed overnight, and then drove the next day. And I was just like, "What just happened, dude?"
Welcome to Lothlorien, man.
Like, all right, well, that was cool, man. I had a good time.
For the people that are in our audience that don't know a lot about Josh, just so you know, Josh, one of the things I don't know that I'm ever going to be involved directly with the Libertarian Party again. They've pretty much sent me a pretty direct message that I'm not welcome. So that's
not true. I'm here, and Josh is here to tell you that we absolutely accept.
He's in a really rough state.
I know. That's what I was going to say. Like, what you're dealing with is Indiana, not so much the rest of us. So,
but
I'm waiting for the makeover to happen.
Well, I am too, and that's why. What's going on is that I want to know where Josh is going, because I'm not suited to politics at all. I'm not good at it. I can't lie to people to their face.
No, I suck at it.
I'm not good at it. I'm not good at being an ass clown to somebody. I'm not good at choosing between friends that are running for the same position, like happened between Josh and Jacob this past cycle. I'm not good at that. It's not something I'm good at, because I'm like, okay, you both are cool for different reasons. Right. Why can't we get you both? And because I believe in decentralization. But what I want people to know is, yes, Josh has been involved with the Libertarian Party, but what impressed me about Josh from that first meeting at Lothlorien, and it was actually our second meeting.
Yeah, because we had met in Arizona.
Be careful. We were talking about a festival of naked people in the woods, and you said the thing that most impressed me the most about Josh.
Right.
You gotta be careful.
There's a reason why they call me tripod buddy. You know what I'm
saying? For
Big
sure.
Pause. Damn.
But no, he is absolutely a not only a firebrand. When he's people. He has the work ethic that frankly isn't seen everywhere. He is on fire for liberty, and he is trying to do every single thing. And I'm sure that your podcast will be successful because of that energy that you bring to the movement and to understanding. I learned things from you the first time in Arizona. About the only thing he got to say from me was me taking a shit.
That's right. Oh, yeah, I slept in the bathtub, and all of a sudden I'm like, what the hell is that smell? Oh, damn.
Oh, God. It sounds like it would be better to
have some really
in the middle of the woods than in a hotel.
He's right, though. He's right. I was like, oh, man. Oh, fuck. Oh.
Yeah. But when I learned, I like to think that I know an awful lot about liberty and about the different influences like Murray Rothbard or even Milton Friedman or even going back to Voltaire and people like that.
Sure.
But I learned things from Josh, and I learned things immediately. It wasn't like, and that's because, it wasn't like he was trying to have a class. I learned things just by being around him. And that's the kind of leadership. And it was also libertarian stuff. It wasn't, the libertarian mixed with a little bit of this or a little bit of that. I learned real libertarian things from him. And if the Libertarian Party ever hopes to have any impact at all on politics in America, and I don't think they're going to win because they won't let them win. But when I say an impact, I mean changing hearts and minds, because that's where it's at. It's going to take people like Josh, to make that leadership happen. And Josh, I understand there is no one that I have ever seen that has been as attacked. And I worked for Adam Kokesh for 3 years. That was as attacked as you have been in that same amount of time. I haven't seen anybody. And you kept going and you kept fighting and you didn't give up. And that's what it takes to set the world free in our lifetime. So it's going to take leadership from you. And I hope that if you're not going to run for chair, I hope you are going to run for something in the Libertarian Party in a position of leadership, because that party needs people like you. And right now, you and Carol and Karen Ann are about the only people that I put any stock in leadership.
Check out Stephen Nicola too. He's pretty awesome.
Okay.
There's some good people on the LNC. There are a few really good ones. I'm not always happy with their votes, but people like John Phillips can be really good. Stephen Nicola is really, really good. Karen Ann Harlos is really, really good. It's the Sarwarkian part of the national committee that is shit, and there's still a Sarwark on that national committee. So unfortunately, and it's being combated right now. I mean, it really is. What is going on right now in the Libertarian Party, make no mistake, is a 100% a battle for the soul of what the normies consider libertarianism in this country, because that's what it is.
Can I ask you a question about that? So just from my observation, as just like a regular, now granted, I've been, to the last two conventions as the national delegate, from California and then from Louisiana.
Right.
So California, because it was in New Orleans, and like Louisiana was like, nah, man,
there's no room.
It's all booked. There's no more room. The Louisiana this time, because people are like, I'm not going to Orlando, and I'm not doing this in person, and
go be plague rats.
Right, exactly. Okay. Which and still nobody got sick, by the way. We're not going to talk about that, but no. So I'm watching the GOP, and in other ways the DNC eat themselves.
Oh yeah, big time.
And to me, there is this gaping, you could drive a Mack truck through the hole that is being blown open by the offensive line. That is those two parties shooting themselves in the foot.
Yep. I agree.
And what's frustrating to me is it's only rivaled by how much the LP seems to want to shoot itself in the foot.
It's impotent signaling is what I call it. It's impotent signaling. Yeah, I mean that's what it is.
So do you think that what I think is that there is an opportunity to actually, at the very least, become a legitimate power broker party where you can almost king make in certain instances, like some of the non-top two parties in other countries, where you see, like in Great Britain, where they have 5 different parties that are actually somewhat powerful, that can actually build coalitions together. And I'm not saying I'm thrilled with all the decisions that come out, but at least the people can feel like they're somewhat represented, because I feel like the libertarians in the U.S. have no representation whatsoever. We've got Thomas Massey and half a Rand Paul.
Half. That's pushing it these days.
Seriously, that's where we are. We're
I agree.
Thomas Massey and half a Rand Paul, and that's all we got. And Justin Amash, joined the Libertarian Party so he could stop being in Congress. And it's like, huh?
Yeah,
and stop being libertarian.
Yeah, he's gonna run for. He's gonna try and run for president in 2024. Everyone knows it.
Sure.
I mean,
that's
the prags. Sure. That's why I'll tell you, this is one of the reasons. And I'm not gonna shit. There's a lot of really good prags too. Don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. There are some really good prags.
And then there's Joe Houtman, who's a total and complete piece of shit.
The majority of the prags are horrible.
Don't put Josh in that. Like, you can say that to me.
I'll go at Joe Hotman all day. Trust me. We have had our shit. Okay.
Marcus will go. Like, he'll be hit below the belt all day. Anyway.
But here's the thing. One of the reasons why the Prags are going at the Mises Caucus so hard is because they want to usher Justin Amash right into the presidential spot.
Mm-hmm.
And they know that the Mises Caucus is coming to fuck that up. I mean, that's literally what we're doing. You know what I mean? We're not going to let this party be milquetoast bullshit anymore.
Mealy-mouthed compromising with the GOP and the DNC on let's make it to where it's like 1/10 less authoritarian.
Tom Woods,
but still really authoritarian.
Okay, well, I went on Tom Woods' show. I think it was the second or third time I was on Tom Woods' show. That was a name drop. That was a big name drop. Anyways, so
that's how I found out about you. Honestly, the first time you were on there, way back when. You and then Heiss. I think it was probably early 2018. And then I actually sent that episode to Adam. I was like, hey, Adam, you need to listen to this and see if there's a way we can build a coalition with these folks. Cause I think this is the way to go. These folks are legit.
We weren't ready. So, I mean, in 2018, we weren't ready, but so here's the thing.
The bone structure wasn't there to support all that muscle.
I'm talking to Tom Woods. Right. And he goes, well, yeah, I get it. Because if the majority of people in this country, when they hear the word libertarian, they don't think about the Mises Institute. They don't think about the Catos and Adam Kokesh's and freedom and all this shit. They think about the fucking Libertarian Party. And when that's their first segue into libertarianism, they automatically think everyone's like Justin Amash, that's libertarian. They get in the party, and then they start trying to fight the libertarians to get them out of the party, right? And Tom Woods said, if there's going to be a chair in this party, if there's going to be a chair of the party, that chair needs to exude pure libertarianism at every turn.
For sure.
And so that's what the Mises Caucus is trying to do for the party, and that's why they're fighting it. I mean, 100%. That's why they're fighting it, because they don't want that, because then they can't usher their guys right up to the top of the stage to be impotent for another 4 years. You know what I mean? And so we're threatening that. We're threatening the pond, and it's working. But in 2018, we weren't ready. I mean, but here's the thing. Here's the other thing. A lot of people are like, "Well, you lost. You lost in 2018. You lost in 2020, right?" And I'm like, did I? Did I fucking lose? I'll tell you what, I set out on a mission by my fucking self in 2017 to change the Overton window in the Libertarian National Party, right? I set out on a mission. Nobody knew who I was, okay? I had Think Liberty at the time. We had about 12
and you had
followers
a two-time repeating, you had a two-time reigning chair that you were going up against.
I'm going up against a guy running for his third term. He's a trial lawyer. He owns a huge business in Arizona, right? And I'm going, nobody knows who I am. But I'm setting out on this mission, and I'm not going to quit until my mission is successful. My mission wasn't becoming chair of the party. My mission was to move the Overton window in the Libertarian Party, and Nick Sarwark got beat by Noda in New Hampshire for treasurer 3 weeks ago.
Yep.
Yeah. I won. I won.
And sure you did.
About a week after he said, it's not cancel culture, it's accountability action.
Accountability action or something. Yeah. Good
job,
buddy. Perfect timing.
Hey.
For everybody that knows that you got to also put into what he's facing, the bullshit that Josh has had to endure. I have screenshots, and these screenshots are not. I could, but I don't have a shit ton. These say. This is in the official Indiana Libertarian Party.
Oh, yeah, I saw this shit. Yeah, I know
the official Libertarian. I'm going to read it. And I'm going to quote.
Put those bitches up there. I'll do it.
It's on my phone.
Is this the Owens?
No, I can do it.
No, it isn't. No. Now, this is the chair of the Libertarian Party of Indiana. This was in the official chat for the Libertarian Party of Indiana, in the official chat. This was what was said. Someone else said, magically, the necessary equipment showed up at the Mises Caucus party. And then the chair said, and this is Tim McGuire, the chair of the Indiana Libertarian Party, who is nice as can be to your face. Yeah. But this is what he said. Can't expect much better from white supremacists. Someone else added,
when you have no other argument, what else are you going to do besides call them white
fucking loser?
Right. On top of that, someone else said, how much profanity can be loaded into one message on the doing business side before it belongs to, Cannaboy? Anyway, not very important. I said, so yeah, got to say, because I've never been officially part of the, and I'm in this chat because I was a delegate. I said, yeah, I got to say, I'm not in the Mises Caucus, but calling them all white supremacists is not helpful. He said, Marcus, I apply the same metric to them that I do the police. If they are not willing to clean house, then they're just as guilty. I previously always respected the other caucuses, but that one scares me. Okay, there you go. And I said, again, not something I am part of, but are good libertarians in that. There are good libertarians in that caucus, and guilt by association is not the collectivist mentality I want to align with. At the end of the day, you have been lied about by multiple people. You have been attacked for being a racist. You have been attacked for being too right leaning. You've been attacked.
I'm Jewish, by the way.
Right.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So I have a question for all those people. So
I'm literally half Middle Eastern.
They want to cancel you, and they also want to cancel Hotep Jesus. Yeah. So they say that you're a white supremacist, and then they say that they say that. Right. Yeah. They say that Maj is like a black white supremacist somehow.
Yeah.
But then they say
also a Jew.
But then what's that?
Dave Smith, who's also a Jew.
Yeah. Also
and Adam.
Also, yeah, Adam Murray Rothbard, perfect on Mises.
Really, there's all these people. Party, man.
There's all these people. Yeah. Anyway, so there's that, and then there's Hotep Jesus, who they're trying to cancel as he's being like invited to speak at the California convention. And they're saying he's an anti-Semite. And so I'm like, okay, so wait. So when the coalition of Jewish white supremacists and black anti-Semites come together, which one do you hate more, the Jews or the black people?
Yeah. That's a good way to put it, dude. For real. Well, here's the thing. They say he's an anti-Semite because once he said that, Jews control all the media and all this stuff. But those same people will turn around and be like, oh, white people are racist. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Right,
you just said that he can't say that Jews control all the media, which, I mean, it could be possible. I don't know all the media people. But to then turn around and say all white people are racist is just as bad, if not worse. You fucking idiots. You know what I mean? And so it just blows my mind. The level of mental gymnastics that these people use is I mean, it's palpable. It's horrible. I mean, just ridiculous. And I've been through it worse than just about anybody in this fucking party, dude. You know what I mean? Yeah. I've had people call me a deadbeat dad, woman abuser. I got this shithead Richie Castaldo running around calling me a sexual abuser. There's not even a kernel of truth to that one. At least I did get in an altercation with an ex-girlfriend once where the cops came. You know what I mean? Mm. But like, there's not even a kernel of truth for this shit. They're saying that I don't pay my child support. I got receipts, bitch. For years and years and years and years, $800 a month, and I'm raising 7 in my house right now. So which one am I not taking care of? You tell me. Yeah,
no, look, I'm not going to name names because
I'll name names all day.
I kind of believe in the keep your enemies closer sort of ways to. And I'm not saying these people are necessarily enemies. I just prefer. Well, I'm talking about the people who I'm talking about.
Oh, okay.
There's some people who I know personally who were saying some stuff that like during the chair debate, and I was just like, okay. So it was like you would make a point and it would be like child abandoner. And I was
these
like, y'all literally tried to like ruin an actual human family.
Yeah.
By like dragging someone's child into some
stuff.
It goes
so much deeper, dude.
That didn't need to. Yeah. Well, I probably don't know.
I didn't even know this until afterwards, but I mean, they literally like, they bribed my 16-year-old daughter with a phone while she was in a bad situation to talk shit about me. Bro. That's how fucking terribly depraved these shitheads are. I've been trying to get custody.
I didn't know that. Holy shit.
10 years I've been trying to get custody. I have it now.
Yeah.
Got her out of
no, and
these motherfuckers.
I'm glad for you and for her for that. Yeah.
They literally meddled in that shit. Mm-hmm. They literally meddled in that shit
over politics,
over politics, intra-party politics,
and not only that, but
Libertarian Party politics
to protect some of the most douchebaggery that I've ever seen
to protect the anthill, dude. Let's call it what it is. It's a fucking anthill.
It's not even. Oh, and I'm talking about like the specific personalities involved, who were being protected. I'm like, if you were trying to protect Ron Paul, I'm not saying it's okay, but I'm saying like, okay, I can see why you might have been misguided, but to try to protect the people they were trying, like some of the most smarmy, like plausible deniability using dishonest people, it was beyond the pale.
Sure. Well, let's just call it what it is. It all started with Angela Fisher Owens. I mean, all of it. From the very beginning in 2017, when she was managing Alicia Dern's campaign, they came to me and they're like, "Hey, we're going to work together to take down Nick Sarwark." And I said, "No, I'm going to run a clean campaign on my own merits because I think I can beat Nick." And then they got all pissed off. Then they came to me 3 weeks later. "Hey, we're going to start a Me Too movement in the Libertarian Party. We want your help." And I was like, "Fuck no. I'm not going to just start making accusations about people that I don't even fucking know." And then they got so pissed. And then 2 weeks later, they started that Me Too movement with me.
Yeah,
with me. Out of the blue, I was at Texas State Convention, and Angela Fisher Owens sends me, "Hey, some stuff coming out about the Washington State Convention. You and Ben, Ben
Farmer.
I
remember that shit.
And I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, Ben Farmer and I shared a hotel room at the Washington State Convention. First of all, Washington State Convention was my home convention. I was living in Washington State at the time. Everybody there knew me. Literally everybody there knew me, even the speakers. You know what I mean? And I'm going, "What could I have done?" And then she's like, "Oh, you said something about some lady's pussy or something." And I'm like, no, I fucking, that's just, first of all, I had a living girlfriend. You know, it was just not something that I would have done at all.
Right.
And so when they started coming out and making up this story, and they had their whole little crew that were all working on the Feldman Foundation together, and she starts sending me all this shit, I said, "You know what? I got screenshots to disprove everything you're fucking saying right now." So they put out an article on the Libertarian Vindicator or some shit at the time. And I put out a second article that literally tore their shit to shreds, to the point where the Alicia Dern campaign had to make a public apology. The people who made the accusations had to make a public apology. And ever since then, it was like she went around like a snowball trying to get everyone she could to hate me. Everybody. And
that's what it is.
One lie after another.
It's that King Solomon, split the baby kind of thing. Like if I can't have what I want, no one can have it.
Yep.
It's more. The thing is, it's more insidious than that. To add to that, I want to add, I was there when in the first real, because Angela Fisher Owens was the campaign manager for Adam Kokesh for a limited amount of time. I was there. It was at the Arizona convention when I watched her try to just absolutely tear apart Bill Weld, which I don't like Bill Weld, but at the same time, what Angela Fisher Owens does is she sows discord. That's what she does. What she is doing, in my opinion, it is. I'm not trying to say that she works for the FBI.
I think she works for the alphabet agencies.
Right. I don't know. My guess is she works for somebody who works for an alphabet agency, but at the end of the day, what she is trying to do is to sow discord. If there is any group that is causing people to come together within the Libertarian Party, she attacks them.
Every time. Every time.
Boy, this sounds like a whole bunch of like blackmail. Like, this is disgusting. Is that
I got legitimately blackmailed in 2018.
What I describe it as is these people don't have anything better or more important to accomplish, and so they LARP as Game of Thrones characters.
That's what my girlfriend says. That's what my fiance says all the time. She's like, "Don't these people have anything better to do with their time? What do they do for the movement?
It's Game of Thrones LARPers. That's all they are. They're trying to pretend like they wield all this power, and it's like you're literally stopping the people who could actually make this party powerful to like actually free people.
Yeah.
And instead what you're doing is you're fighting over this throne that has no power whatsoever right now.
So Nico, you were about to say?
Oh no, I was going to ask Josh about his experience with if you were like to go into it with the blackmail and all that. Like, is there just more than them trying to get your daughter and the phone call.
Well, we can talk about the blackmail that happened in 2017, 2018 before the first chair race. So there was more than one group of people that were going after me, right? There was the Angela Fisher Owens crowd, which was the Alicia Dern campaign with Joe and Tashina Pascal and those people who had done such terrible shit. They actually got Aaron Adams to step down from the Feldman Foundation because she didn't want to be a part of their shit anymore. And then there was also this was the time when the Libertarian Socialist Caucus popped up, and they were running that candidate Matt Keno, who is a avowed Marxist communist now, right?
A murder your landlords.
Yeah.
Like.
So, but here's the thing, and some people probably don't know this. He used to be my best friend, dude. He used to be like one of my best friends, and he was the ANCAP cat. He was like super hardcore anarcho-capitalist, dude. Right?
Really?
Yeah, he was one of the people who founded. If you remember, before Think Liberty, we had a site called Dankertarians.
Yeah, and
we founded Dankertarians together. It was a really cool outlet between people like me, Caitlin Cloven, Vinnie Marshall, Matt Keno, Bo Brown, who became pretty hardcore communist, Marxist, not Marxist, but like whatever, mutualist, and also Lonnie Dupree. And when they decided they were going to go communist, we took off and started to Think Liberty, me and Vinnie Marshall and Lonnie Dupree and Caitlin Cloven. And that became way more successful than Dankertarian's dumpster fire anyways. So, and so he had all these chat logs from Dankertarians. And he came forward and he's like, hey, I'm going to release all these chat logs if you don't drop out of the chair race. And I said, you just committed federal political blackmail, legitimately, like without even batting an eyelid. You are committing a federal felony.
And so is that why he chose to run against you instead?
No, he was already running. He was already running against me.
He was already running at that point. Okay.
No, he decided to run against me because I wasn't communist enough or something. I don't know.
And I don't have any problem with like if it's voluntary, you want to have a commune or whatever and all this stuff, but
same. I don't
this whole like rejection of property rights.
Yeah.
That loses me. Yeah.
Let's get it back to what the real crux of that argument is, because I've got a little bit of a narco-communist in me. I am pretty influenced by Emma Goldman, and at the end of the day, I see some of their arguments. I understand the focus on corporations, all of that crap. At the end of the day, the enemy of any anarchist, whether that anarchist is like me, or that anarchist is a agorist, or that anarchist is an ANCAP, or that anarchist is a anarcho-communist, the enemy is not another anarchist. The enemy is the state. And if you are aimed at the state, then you are my ally. That is the end of the day, because that is the biggest pieces of shit on the whole planet from the beginning of time.
Next to Angela Fisher Owens.
Okay.
No, but people like her and like Matt is what the problem is. They point all their rockets at people like you,
right?
And that's what's fucking bizarre about this whole thing. It's like, bro, like we can agree to like Marcus says all the he has this metaphor about like getting on, or maybe it's somebody else's metaphor about getting on the freedom train, and you get on. Oh, it's about Rothbard. Shit, fuck. I didn't.
But I'll take it.
I need to read more Rothbard. God damn it. Haven't read enough. I drive too much. Anyway, no, but like you get off that freedom train wherever your stop is, and if that stop is at voluntary, commune or whatever, okay, whatever. But it's still, or at minarchy or whatever. But you're still traveling. We're going in the same direction. So why are we shooting each other while the state is fucking us over left and right? Why are we fighting each other when we could be fighting them together, arm in arm? It's fucking retarded. Anyway.
Yeah. So to bring this around, we've talked about how you've been fucked, and we've talked about how you've been, demonized. Tell us what you're going to do about it. Tell us how you're going to change it. Tell us how Josh, who has just said he's not going to run for chair, which I think is a mistake, but I'm not you. But Josh,
I don't know, man. I saw Josh. We were hanging out after the convention and everything, like
in Orlando.
It's me just going there as a delegate whipped my ass.
Yeah. I get it.
So I'm not trying to put that shit on a man who's got all the shit he's got going on personally right now. That's a lot.
What do you do?
I did put on my Twitter that I am throwing around the idea of starting an exploratory committee to run for U.S. Congress here in Iowa. So that may be, I think my next step is public office, like actually committing and running a public campaign. I think that, in a state like Iowa, I can do really good. My congressional district is the only Democrat in Congress for Iowa. She won by 2 points against the Republican. And so, I'm really seriously throwing that idea around. I think I could do well for the Libertarian Party here. And I think that I need to kind of go back to my roots and do some local shit. It's a federal campaign, obviously, and I'd have to go to DC if I won. I'm not really under the impression that I'm going to win, but I'm going to try to win, And so if I do run, that's probably what my next step is, at least, if not that, some public office. I think I've, like I said, I think my mission in the Libertarian Party, intra-party, is almost accomplished, dude. Just over the last couple weeks, we have taken 5 state boards with the Mises Caucus, including West Virginia yesterday or the day before. We have made sure that Nick Sarwark literally lost to none of the above in New Hampshire. And on May 1st, we will take the Libertarian Party of Nevada away from the Libertarian Party of Nevada. And they know it. And their Twitter person actually stepped down today because he knows. And if you follow the Libertarian Party state pages, that the Libertarian Party of Nevada is by far the worst state party. And so we're taking it from them. And so that was always my mission. It's not like, and I tell all these people, no, dude, I'm not going to purge you from the party. I just want you to get in the back seat for a while. You've been fucking up long enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I feel like the work that I've done over the last 4 years has led to this. When I joined the Mises Caucus in 2017, there was 42 people in the Facebook group. Okay. Nobody knew who the Mises Caucus was. No one cared. Okay. 4 years later, they're pulling in almost 15 grand a month. They are taking over state boards all over the country. They have 10,000 people on an email list that want to be delegates. You know what I mean? It's mission accomplished for me, man. I did what I had to do. I put myself on the line. I traveled around the country with the Mises Caucus target on my back for 4 years, and I worked my ass off. I'm going to sit back and chill a little bit now. And if I run, it's going to be an outward campaign. I don't have to deal with the intra-party people anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I already shit all over these people. I mean, they tried so hard to kill me, and I just kept getting back up, putting my finger up, and moving on. You know what I mean? And so they know that they lost. These people all around the country that are like this, they know they're losing. They see it happening, and it's the death nail of a losing side at this point. So I don't need to keep going. I'll put my support behind Angela McArdle. She's amazing. I'm a big fan.
Yep.
I worked with her on the board in California. I am stoked to see her running. I never really wanted to run against her. I didn't want it to have to be a fight at all because I respect her more than anybody else that's going to run for chair probably. And I think that everyone should coalesce behind Angela. She's amazing. She's one of the hardest workers, and she's got a great ethic, and she is philosophically consistent from start to finish.
Yep.
So,
no, and like she's like astute enough to like navigate without like she's like no nonsense, but she's also like I actually think she can kind of like pull people together and bring some of these different factions that are infighting together under like a common umbrella, because like to Marcus's point, like we're fighting enemies much bigger than each other. Yeah. Jesus Christ, man. Like seriously, we need to stop fucking around, because this is way bigger than this little, infighting bullshit.
We're up against people that will napalm your children.
Yes,
you know what
exactly.
I mean?
People don't fucking, they want to talk about all this shit and try to like drag up and use. And that's why I use this term plausible deniability a lot, but that's like, there's this.
Shout out to Nick Sarwark.
If you can pretend like you didn't say something, or you can pretend like you weren't involved in like dragging somebody through the mud or anything like that, you think you're somehow like above the fray.
Yeah.
When you're really just you're LARPing as a Game of Thrones character.
In the words of Gary, you're being a pussy.
Yes, you are. Exactly. You're being a fucking pussy. You're being a cunt. And we have people, like Josh said, who will literally murder your children.
Yep. We don't need people that are
that's who
offended
we're fighting
by
up
words.
against.
Yeah.
And you're instead of fighting them, you're fighting us. Get the fuck out of here.
Did somebody just call me the Thanos of the Libertarian Party?
Libertarian Party. No,
I
stop
wish.
It.
Shit, I wish. Man,
who is that?
Great.
That must be.
Oh God! If I could have just snapped my fingers 4 years ago and just been done with it, that'd have been great. But unfortunately, I actually had to put in a shit ton of work. But yeah, dude. That's and that quote is I stole that quote from Michael Heiss. I mean, we're up against.
Shout out to Michael Heiss too, by the way.
We're up against a state that
right
will
there.
literally napalm your children. We don't need people that are fucking offended by words, dude. We need soldiers. If you're going to stand in the way of the people who are legitimately ready to fight the state, then we're either going through you or around you, bud. So you can move over or get out of the fucking way because we're not stopping. And I think that the last 4 years have proved that I'm not stopping. Michael Heiss is not stopping. Jeff Douglas is not stopping. Luke Enzer is not stopping. David Hines is not stopping. The fucking Mises Caucus is here to stay, and they're winning
and growing
day. They're winning every single day. Every day.
It's like a fucking giant snowball rolling downhill.
Join us or die, man. I mean, that's pretty much, at this point, it's like we're here to fight for freedom and liberty.
In a figurative sense.
Yeah,
like
we don't
have
have
the people who napalm your children.
Right. The Mises Caucus doesn't have to punch down anymore. They're all up at this point.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's no more punching down. You're either with us or we're gonna move you out of the way and keep going. I mean, that's really what it is. It's not, they use this takeover language, and I talked about this with Scott Horton.
That's why I use the makeover language.
Yeah, it's a makeover. And Scott Horton made a good point. When I had Scott on my show after the show, so I did about an hour and 20 minutes with Scott Horton, and then I got off the show and did about another hour and 20 minutes just talking to Scott Horton.
You got to record those. Did you record it?
No, I wish I would have.
You got to start recording that shit, man.
But
we learned that lesson the hard way too.
Yeah. Well, so Scott's like, look. How would you feel if you had been in the Libertarian Party for the last 20 years? Okay. And you're a big fan of Mises and you're a big fan of what the Mises Caucus is doing, right? But you've been out doing all the work, the petitioning and all this shit. And then all of a sudden this new group of people come here and go, hey, we're from the Mises Caucus. Fuck you. And then walk, you know what I mean? It's not like, and I want to make it exceptionally clear that it's not like that for me, and especially Michael Heiss. The takeover language, it sounds fun, it's playful, but what's really happening is we're coming to help, right? And if you're going to stand in the way of that help, then yes, we want you to get in the back seat. If you're cool with the help and you want to see the party grow and you want to see it become successful and you want to see us on a national political stage be really do good things and actually move the liberty needle in this country, fucking awesome. We're not trying to take you over. We're trying to work with you. You know what I mean? And so I think that's where the big breakdown is. And of course, people are going to hear takeover, and then the people that don't argue in good faith are going to be like, "Oh, they're coming to take us over. They're white supremacists and this and that." And we know how these people work. It's leftist tactics.
Yeah.
We know that you're going to call us homophobes and what transphones and.
Hey man, you're fucking up my next segment.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Hey, well, look, I'm getting ready. I've got the swirly twirly of death ready. So
hey,
you're ready.
But anyways, we're not going to die.
Nico,
let Nico ask a question real quick, and then we're going to go. We're going to take him to the chamber.
I was warning him. Just close your eyes.
He's going to warn you. Yeah, you may want to close your eyes. I don't think you need to close your eyes unless you have
you need to open them very wide.
Yeah, I was going to say unless you have an epilepsy history.
I do. I got a little bit of problems. So we'll figure it out.
Well, just turn away real quick. Or close your eyes. Close your eyes real quick if it gets trippy.
I'm blaming.
But this is what we like to call this the Aquarian Anarchy Indoctrination Chamber.
Oh, jeez.
Welcome.
Oh my goodness.
It's not anything real. It's not anything real elaborate. I am working on something more elaborate than that. I just fucking work and drive too much, so I don't have time
welcome to my life too, buddy.
Edit a whole video thing of like I want to have like Marcus doing voodoo and like I don't know, casting a spell on you or some shit. But we don't have that yet. So I would like to start, Marcus, if that's okay with you. So why are you a white supremacist?
Why am I a half Middle Eastern man, a white supremacist? Let's see. I hate myself, I just really do. I really do. Jesus.
Why do you like to beat up women?
Oh my God.
Oh.
We were gonna prepare you, but you were late.
It's so much.
You should not have come late, motherfucker. No,
it's just so satisfying. I don't know.
Oh God, man, this is bad. That's not. No, but so it was funny when you said the thing about you hate yourself. It reminded me of Adam when he was interviewing Hotep Jesus. He was like, "I'm half German, half Jewish. I don't know which side of me to hate worse." Anyway, go ahead, Nico.
I was gonna say, do you believe in joyriding police cars?
Well, yeah. I mean, that's our property, anyways. We paid for it
for sure. Now, this is supposed to be the place where we indoctrinate the people to become
non-anarchist,
right, a non-anarchist into being an anarch, which is my preferred term for what I am, because an anarchist is someone who is practicing anarchy, and I'm not practicing anarchy, but I own myself. It compares to being a monarch. I am an anarch, which means I have no ruler. Because even though I live in a fascist regime, I personally own myself, and they can go fuck themselves. So there's not a lot we can really work with here, Josh, because I already know, that you're there. So I gotta pull from what people say about your shit all the time.
Right. Sure.
So I do want to dive in to a couple of things. First thing is the rhetoric that you just went into about taking over the Libertarian Party and all of that. I do think that has a tendency to turn people off. What I have seen is the Mises Caucus lock arms and put aside any other opinion. The focus of some people in the Libertarian Party is not economics.
True.
And what would you do about some of those issues if given the magic wand? How would you force your Mises basis on people that might be more interested in the environment, or might be more interested in gay rights, or might be more interested in things that are traditionally considered left of center, those anarcho-communists? How would you approach people like Joe Kopsick, who I debated little over a year and a half ago? Mm-hmm. How would you approach them? Would you approach them to push them out, or would you try to educate them?
I think education's important. I think Joe Kopsick's a lost cause, and he can go fuck himself. But there are some good people from that wing of the party who are reachable, and I'm not here to really force anybody out. You know what I mean? Like I said before, I don't want to force anything on anybody. I think the Mises Caucus is the economics wing of the Libertarian Party. And I think that they're staying the most philosophically consistent when it comes to economics for libertarianism. But I'm also, it's the same thing with the immigration debate, right? Like, of course, if you've ever listened to me, I'm an open borders guy. I am. But I also am not going to tell somebody who thinks that we need Ellis Island style immigration that they can't come to the party if they're good on every other issue, right? So I think economics is a big issue for the Libertarian Party. I do. I think that the economics of freedom are very, very important. And if you need any book references, please let me know. I've read them all. We could pull out The Machinery of Freedom here, or I think I got For New Liberty, or there's plenty. Sure. But no, again, Joe Kopsick can go fuck himself. But there are some really good people from that side of the party who really do truly care about liberty and freedom, and not pushing this Medicare for all, or we're going to kill your landlords type style shit. And by the way, Joe Kopsick did like an 1.5 hour long video on me on YouTube once, so that's why I'm telling him to go fuck himself.
I debated him after that.
Yeah, I know. This was 2018 after I went on the Tom Woods show. He did like a reaction podcast
to your Tom Woods
to me on the Tom Woods show, and I'm just like, all right, dude, I think it only has like 42 views or something.
They have that song, "They Will Know We Are Christians by Our Love." I think in some ways, like, they will know we are true libertarians by our enemies. Because there's some of that stuff that it's just like, man, like when you think about like the some of the statist authoritarian type shit that people try to pull, to fight back against. Like,
Right.
I have my own like personal beliefs on shit, but like I'm not here to like stop anybody from doing anything that isn't infringing on anyone else's right.
I don't give a shit.
And like this idea that like you have to have this, I don't know, they think it's like a purity test that if you're not willing to shoot a landlord, that somehow you're like something's wrong with you. And I'm like, bro, like, did you hear what you just said? Like, some of these people are like also victims of the state. Sure. Like the landlord is a victim of the state too. Jesus Christ! Man.
Well, there are three things. I think there's three. I think there's three very serious issues in this country that need to be addressed if you're going to call yourself a libertarian. I do. I think ending the wars has got to be, in my opinion, one of the biggest issues that
wars,
you think
murder.
about.
It's like right at the top for me. Like, honestly, like
it's one of the reasons why they take taxes from us. I mean, they're literally taking your money to bomb brown people overseas. A third of the national budget goes to the military-industrial complex. You have to be cognizant of that first. The Federal Reserve is destroying our purchasing power in this country. It's something that has to be addressed all the time. You have to think about it. I know that some people are like, oh, the Fed's too hard to understand for some people. No, it's not. It's really easy to understand. They're the ones that are inflating your purchasing power and fucking it up, and they're the ones who set interest rates.
My daughter was a freshman in high school explaining The Creature from Jekyll Island to a classmate.
Sure.
It's not that hard to understand.
It's really not, dude. It's really not.
It's not.
And the other one is criminal justice. I think that we have the largest prison population in this country, which I think 70% of them, 65% of them are nonviolent offenders, setting in violent rape cages. This is legalized slavery, dude. It's literally the Democrats and Republicans went, well, we can't do the slavery thing anymore, so we're gonna
13th Amendment. Shout out to the 13th Amendment for like making slavery legal still.
Yeah, and then and then bonus issues are freedom of self-defense. I think that's a really important one. I don't say that our right to defend ourselves comes from the Constitution. It doesn't. It's granted to us as a human being, at period. That's it. There is no discussion outside of that. So, I'm very Lysander Spoonish when it comes to the Constitution of this country.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. So it's a piece of crinkled up old parchment paper that has done nothing to stop them from trampling our rights. So
for sure.
So it sounds like the typical white supremacist stuff that I'm hearing.
Totally.
You don't want us to bomb brown people overseas, and you don't want black people disproportionately thrown in rape cages for nonviolent offenses. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, those are totally like a traditional white supremacist talking points, big time. And I also don't want black men who have had nonviolent offenses on their record not to be able to defend themselves with handguns and their families with handguns. You know what I'm saying? So totally white supremacist, very racist.
What I've gathered from this segment, Josh, is that you're really, really neglecting the most important issue in our time. Nearly 12 people nationwide are discriminated against every year. Every year. Aren't transgender rights important?
I mean, sure. I bet 100% that if you're a transgender rights are very important. But to me, it's all individual rights. I mean, it's really what it is. Everything is individual rights. It's all about the individual. The smallest minority in this world is the individual, whether that's white, black, brown, trans, gay. It doesn't matter. You're an individual. You have your own life, your own set of rules for your house. You should have the right to do whatever the fuck you want. So to me, fighting for individual rights is fighting for trans rights. You know what I mean? It is fighting for the black community to have whatever rights they want, and the white community to have whatever rights they want, and the Asian community. You know what I mean? And but we're breaking it all the way down to the individual. Because those communities are made up of individuals that have their own idea of what they want to do with their lives, and there is no one size fits all for how you run your home. There just isn't. And so when we have this one size fits all central planning bullshit of especially of a federal government, you don't have any rights anymore. It doesn't matter if you're transgender or black or white. You don't have rights. You have what the government lets you do, and that's it. And we have so many people in this country who do not understand rights that way. They do not understand the government this way. I mean, even libertarians are like, oh no, the government is made to protect your rights. The government has never been about protecting your rights. Not since the beginning of government.
And the burglars.
Yeah. Have they ever been about protecting your rights? They have always been about growing their power and growing their influence. That's it. That's all they do.
I always go back to the line from The Anatomy of the State where Rothbard talks about shifting from looting, raping, burning, and pillaging a village, and then moving on to the next one like locusts, and instead figuring out like, wait a second, what if we told them that we give them rights, and what if we told them that we're protecting their rights, and all they have to do is pay us and let us have a bunch of their shit on an ongoing basis forever, and then we'll just live here.
Yeah.
And that's really what it comes down to.
You're a serf.
You become a serf. Yep. And so all we've done is we've just kind of like upgraded the language and the firmware of the fiefdom concept from like centuries ago into what we have now. And instead of people asserting their rights, I mean, if this last year hasn't shown you right up front and center who gets it and who doesn't, I don't know what can tell you.
The greatest trick the government has ever pulled is making an entire population of people believe that they were there to help them. Seriously, 100%. The federal government is a terrorist organization masquerading as a human rights organization.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
For sure.
Period. That's all it is.
Absolutely. And so, Nico, do you have another question for him in our indoctrination chamber?
How many people can you shoot and get away with?
Depends on what branch of the military you're serving in, bud.
Oh, okay.
I like that answer.
That was one I wasn't expecting, but hey,
yeah, it depends. Well, it depends. It depends on what alphabet agency or local authority or military branch you serve for. I mean, really, that's what it comes down to, because you can't shoot anybody and get away with it. I mean, because you don't have the monopoly on violence. The state does, right? So, somebody asked in your chat, what about the state after you abolish the federal government? Look, we'll try to break down the state too, trust me. But I would take a state by state basis over a centralized federal government, because then at least then I have the opportunity to vote with my feet and vote with my dollars. You know what I mean? I can move to a state that's doing the things that I like, but I can't move to another country that's doing the things I like, just because of how insanely hard it is to become a resident of another country. You know, with states, it's different. So
shout out to Liechtenstein. I'd love to live there, but they are like really, really restrictive because it's like so small yet so awesome that they're like, nah, man, you can't live here.
I'd like to live in a beach hut on Bora Bora. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but
right.
we don't all get what we want, dog. You know,
Right.
But it'd be a lot easier. It'd be a lot easier to vote with your feet if it was, dissolved in the. I think we need a national divorce, anyways. I mean, right away, we need a national divorce
For sure.
because the COVID issue has shown me that there's people in this country that I just cannot live with. I just can't. They want to force vaccines on me. They want to force me to stay in my home. They want to force me to give up my self-defense. Like, those people and I are no longer compatible at all. And if we don't have a national divorce soon, it's going to turn into violence, big time violence in this country. So we need that right away. First thing.
It's kind of funny how things popped up recently. And it's the anniversary of George Floyd. So you're just taking everybody's emotions. And, I was just reading a book and I just thought of that. I was like, ain't it kind of funny? Like, nobody sees this coincidence. Like, they just using the same time because riots started up around this time, So y'all not seeing how this is carrying through your emotion? No. No, it's just me. Okay.
No, well, that's what they do. That's what they do. They play on your emotion. That's how the government controls you. There's a lot, I hate to use the word sheep, but there's a lot of fucking sheep out there, man. And they just eat up whatever the government tells them. They can slap a specialist or professional on anything and be like, here's your professional. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter that Dr. Fauci pushed AZT to HIV patients and knowingly killed them because he wanted to make profit on AZT. And we had people out there literally trafficking drugs from Mexico for therapeutic reasons to help people with HIV. No, it doesn't matter because the government has deemed him a specialist, and that's the government paid specialist. So everyone in this country is going to eat up whatever he has to say. Not everybody, because I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? And but we can look back in history and see that a lot of the times when a government says, "Here's our specialist," shit like the Tuskegee experiments happen. Shit like AZT happens. I mean, the government is horrible at this shit. They've been the worst at everything forever.
Yeah.
So why are we listening to them?
That's why it's like people are like, this stuff's not even FDA approved. It's just I was like, I don't even give a fuck if it's FDA approved.
Yeah,
that might even be worse.
Yeah,
goddamn, get the fuck out of here with that shit. But one of the things that was it was kind of funny with the whole. So as this stuff starts to happen, and you have the is it Dante Wright? Is that his name? Is it Wright?
Yes.
Yeah. So as that thing happens, I get on the flip side.
All right, I thought it was my taser.
But from a conservative friend of mine, I get this this video, and it's a Charlie Kirk video. And he's talking about how, well, now look at this, and let me show you this video. And he shows the video of him. And he shows the video of him, of him having the gun on camera. And I'm like, oh, wait. So now, if you dare have a gun and you're black,
that was the 13-year-old. That was the 13-year-old.
Yeah.
Dante Wright was the one who the lady thought she pulled her taser and pulled her. She thought she pulled her. No,
I don't know. Maybe I'm conflating him. But I
can't remember his name right now. But yeah, dude, it's so stupid. It's like you get it
from both sides. The left and the right are doing the same thing, and they're telling me like, well, this is the media is drumming this up, and I'm like, yeah, and you're falling for the trap.
Oh, sure.
Like that's your end of the trap. Your end of the trap is you send me Brandon Tatum, Candace Owens, Charlie Kirk videos. And the left end of the trap is you send me Rachel Maddow, Sean King, Mark Lamont Hill videos.
Yeah.
And Roland Martin or so, you know what I mean? Like it's this crazy matrix that they have people in where
we talked about this last night. We talked about this, was it 2 nights ago with Spike Cohen? No, was it last night or the night before? Anyways, a couple this is exactly what's happening. Okay. This is how stupid some people are in this country. Okay. The conservatives want to up the police state. They want the police to have more power in this country to execute people and do all this shit, right?
Yeah.
Who do you think is going to come take your guns when the Democrats enact gun legislation?
Bro,
and the Democrats want to defund the police completely, get rid of the police.
Right.
But who do they think is going to enforce their tax laws and their, COVID shutdowns? Who do they think is going to enforce that shit?
Don't worry, Lori Lightfoot's got that handled. She gave $280 million worth of COVID relief to the cops.
Yeah, we kind of broke out here, but I'm still.
Nico lives in Chicago, so I had to throw that on him. I had to kick some dirt on his grave.
I'll be in Chicago in June.
I put out a tweet earlier today that I think encapsulates kind of the idea that you're talking about, Josh. And what I said is conservatives want to, the conservatives worship the state as it is. True. That's what they're conserving, is the state as it is. And liberals worship the state like they want it to be. And an anarch defies the state and opposes it.
Sure. Yep. I agree. Fully.
So with that, I think, guys, I don't know, maybe we might have an anarch
out of the tournament. I mean, out of the chamber. Out of the tournament. I'm sorry. I've been in a basketball tournament all weekend. I have tournament on the brain.
I've been an anarchist, by the way.
I know. We know. We just have to do it. Like you're a guest, and you have to go into the chamber whether you're an anarch or not. Fair. So one more time. All right, I'm done. That was
all right. So at the end of the day, Josh, I really think that your voice is one of the voices And we've had some phenomenal guests. I mean, we just have. We've had, a bunch of really good hoteps. We've had, we've had Dan Berman on here. Of course, we've had Adam on here. We've had Maj on here. We've had a lot of good people that are focused on solutions. And I think that you're one of those voices.
Mm-hmm.
So to kind of bring it home and here probably within the next few minutes, let you go, I'd like to hear your solutions not for the Libertarian Party. I think what you're doing for the Libertarian works, or for the Libertarian Party works. I like the idea of that you've moved move the window a little. I like that analogy. I like because I think that people like you and frankly people like Adam aren't going to get the kind of credit that they deserve for pushing that to where right now we're talking about, is it going to be Spike or is it going to be Dave Smith? And I'm going, right. I'd take them both.
Yeah, that's great. It's great.
And I would actually love like a little coalition of like that would be really cool, because then it would bring quite a bit of shit together, right? Like it's I don't know. I'm one of those crazy people. Like my mom and dad, I was a senior in college. My mom and dad split up and told us all that they were getting a divorce. And I made a mixtape and everything. And within 9 months, I'm walking my mom down the aisle and handing her back to my dad. And they renewed their vows. And like they've been doing like marriage reconciliation ministry for like 30 years since then. Wait, that's too long. I'm not that old. 25 years. But anyway, I'm one of those kind of people that like, I'm like, no. You people are going to stay together and you're going to work together and this is all going to work out and everybody's going to be okay. That's like kind of my energy where I come from on this stuff. So like, I want even people who don't agree on a whole bunch of stuff, I want people to come together and like find a way to find the common ground and then work in that direction. And that's one of the reasons why it's actually broken my heart, because I came to the LP. Marcus met me like as I was starting with Adam's campaign back in early 2018. I came to this with this like stupid naivete that like, holy shit, like I got to meet Adam and he's running for president and like the whole LP is going to be behind this and we're going to win and we're going to actually get this whole like, dissolve the federal government shit on the ballot. And we're actually going to have a chance to see this and have it debated in public. And then like I run into the first like Facebook group and I was like, holy fucking shit, all these people hate each other. What the hell's going on? And they're trying to ruin all the people who I thought were good people. Why? Yeah. What the hell? Why are you, mommy, why are you hitting daddy? Daddy, why are you hitting mommy? Like that's how I felt. And so I was just like, no. Stop. Y'all used to love each other. What the fuck happened? So that's kind of how I come to all this. And I'm looking forward to actually seeing that energy kind of reconcile and like and move. And I realize that there's people who are actively fighting against that. And so, get behind me, Satan. But for the rest, like I want to see you got to go.
No, I'm good.
Oh, okay.
For a minute. I do have to
go. Okay. My bad. But anyway, that's what I'm shooting for. I want to see people like you succeed, because I think that there's a huge energy of actually like bringing people together. There's all kinds of, I don't know. I have seen a whole lot of diverse inlets come even from the Mises group.
Sure.
That I think are way underappreciated. And there's this idea that like all the Mises people is like this big group think, but no, there's a whole bunch of different vectors that are coming into this, even through that are beautiful.
Yeah, it's much more diverse than people think, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what I was getting at,
sorry, Marcus.
That's okay. That's what it is. What it is, man. But what I was getting at is we like to offer solutions, and so I'd like you to offer your solutions. And I'm talking about society. What things do you think would be the first few steps that we should take as a people?
Well, I think we need to defy right away. I think, especially during COVID, we've had tyranny handed to us on a silver platter for the last year, and I think people need to just start defying. I mean, open your business, take the mask off, start going out and hanging out with your friends. Open your bars, let people come in. It's done. It's over. You know what I mean? Like the most of the world has already proven that we can go back to normal. These people are just keeping us in this situation perpetually because they like the power, they like the control. We have to defy right away. And I have. I mean, we don't wear masks. We go out and live our life normally. We go to the store. We do all this stuff. People look at us a little crazy. We don't give a shit. You know what I mean? Like, we're just done playing the game, man.
I don't know. I get fist bumps from people in stores.
Oh, sure. Sometimes too. Yeah.
I got one of those last weekend.
I always tell people, man, it's really nice to see your face.
Right. Exactly. Right. I'm going to start using that. That's a beautiful one. I love it. I love it.
It's really nice to see your face, man. Because, it's dehumanizing everybody. And everybody's gotten to this point where it's like, the first time
I think it's dehumanizing us on purpose.
Oh, sure, yeah. The first time I went to a store during all this, I felt like I was doing something illegal, and I'm like, no, fuck this. Right? This is not illegal. This is not illegal to do. I'm at a grocery store buying groceries for my family. You know what I mean? Right. It made us all feel like we're doing. It was designed. I mean, whether I'm not saying that the COVID thing is not a real thing. I'm saying that what they did in during this whole thing, I mean, all of their actions have been way overblown and to make you submit, and that's what they're doing, and it's worked. A lot of the population has just submitted, given up.
There's a lot of people who also like the idea of not having to go to work and being able to zoom it in.
Oh, sure, yeah. I wish I could do that.
And they're fighting for that.
I gotta do that.
I work with my hands, man, every day. So it's I don't get that luxury.
One of the things that was a big takeaway for me with your when you interviewed Brian, Hotep Jesus, one of my big takeaways from that interview was the when he talked about the bifurcating of society. And what you're talking about, Josh, I think is another, and you used an example with Bitcoin and with some of those things. But my light bulb came on for me when I was watching the podcast, and you guys were talking about that, because that is happening, and there's always been like an underground kind of like experience. You think about the pirates and how the pirates didn't participate in regular society, or you talk about the gypsies in Europe, they didn't participate. And the bifurcating, I think, is happening. It's going to be hard, but I do think that you're going to wind up with two cultures coexisting globally. One that is absolutely statist and is under the thumb. And you might say, oh, that's awful. We will have the largest population of people thinking freely if that happens.
Sure.
And developing our own ways of doing things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think that what we're seeing right now is actually the weakening of the state. I know it sounds like the state is becoming all powerful. What it's doing is grabbing a hold. Yeah. And what we're seeing is, MeWe sucks. Let's just be honest. MeWe sucks. Mine sucks.
But it's trying.
Float sucks. But it's free.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Hey, and by that token, I will say what doesn't suck is Libre TV. Shout out to Libre TV. So we are, and I don't know. We can talk about that later, Josh. But there's a free speech platform that is like an alternative to YouTube, an alternative to even like BitChute and some of those other, like, it's a lot more like we're live on there right now. And so it's another platform. It's a friend of ours who runs it and everything. But his whole thing is Saul. It's shout out to Saul G. Is if you can say whatever you want on that platform, you just got to deal with the comment section. That's all.
You talking about Odyssey?
No, fuck Odyssey. No, this is Libre TV. This is a different platform that one of our friends started up actually a few months ago when they got banned from YouTube. Yeah. They started their own platform. Anyway, but it's that's I think where a lot of this stuff goes is the future of this is we're gonna have to and I'm not saying I'm like a huge like lockstep fan of Gab, but I can appreciate them building their own shit.
Sure.
And like continuing to be like having their knees taken out, and they're like, all right, we'll make our own prosthetic knee.
Yeah.
And we'll put it in and we'll start walking again. Sure. Like it's there's a lot of that I can appreciate. So Hotep Daryl says this guy sounds like someone I could drink a beer with.
Nice.
I have had a beer with Josh. It's a good time.
I have had whiskey and
we were watching UFC in Orlando, and what'd you say? Oh yeah, you had. Yeah.
I've had whiskey and other substances.
Yeah.
Those mushroom chocolates were pretty good, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, but no, but we really appreciate you coming on, and I know you got the family and everything to get back to and everything. But I love your setup. I got to step my game up.
Man. If you guys have any tech questions or whatever, dude, I'll help you out, man. I've sunk some money into it, man, but it's so worth it, dude. At the end of the day, it's so worth it, man. So.
Yeah.
Appreciate
I get Top Lobster to make me make this show like a whole. Top Lobster, if you're still listening, we would like Nico, me, and Marcus as little cartoons too, so we can put for our thumbnails and shit.
Yeah,
but, no, man, we really appreciate you coming on and wish you the best. And we'll be there. Marcus maybe not so much as me, because I don't know how much more involved he's going to be in the LP, but I'll still
take it over. We'll talk.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll still be there helping you.
Well, I appreciate it, man. We appreciate you guys. Yeah. Thank you so much, man.
Yeah.
Hey, and Josh, just know that you got a fan in my little girl still. My little girl was the youngest delegate to the national convention in 2018.
9 years old.
She was 7 then.
She was 7.
I think I found that video of her endorsing me. I have a video. I think it's on. I think I have it saved on my phone. But I just watched it recently. I was like, oh, that's the cutest thing I ever seen. I totally forgot about that. Yeah, his daughter was 7, and she did.
Anya even did the whole March of the Dead veterans with us. She walked 2 miles in the sun in New Orleans
and ants
with us. Yeah, and ants. Yeah, y'all got caught up in the ants. I forgot about that. Oh yeah, shit. That was rough.
Yeah. But she's a big fan, Josh, and she was happy to know that we were going to be interviewing you. She is upstairs watching this episode, likely with my wife as we speak. And just know that there are people out here who support you. I'm not going to be heavily involved in the LP. I have my energies directed other places. The Hotep Nation has, when I walked into this group of people, they opened their arms to a fat white guy, and it was a bunch of it was a bunch of black guys and black women who said, "Hey, welcome aboard." And I think I'm going to throw my lot in with them.
Sure.
But
Hotep and build, man.
That's right. That's right. So
absolutely.
Thanks again, Josh, for coming on. And if you're coming through Indiana at any point, let me know. We have an extra room, we have cots, we have extra places for you to stay, because I hope you're going to be traveling more.
Someday, buddy. Someday. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to take a break now.
I don't know if I have a room. I don't know if I have room for 8, but the invitation stands for
9.
That's 9. God damn, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. 17, and you and okay, 9. Yeah. I mean, if you're by yourself, or maybe just you. Anyway, I got a little bit. I got a little bit of space.
We'll be for anybody that's watching. We'll be in Missouri. Julie and I and the baby are going to go to Missouri.
Nice.
Friday night, so we'll be there Friday night, and Saturday I speak at 2 Central Corn Standard Time. I like to call it Central Time. And then I'll be in Chicago in June for the LNC meeting. We're actually having it in.
Hit Nico up. Nico's in there.
Yeah, I most definitely will be open unless I'm all the way in Indiana with Marcus.
Yeah, hit me up. I think I want to say it's like June 6th and 7th or something like that. But hit me up.
Yeah, no, that should be free then. Yeah.
I'll be. We're gonna be downtown Chicago for. For it, so
I drive past the long strip every day on my back to work on my way.
I tried to get them to have it in Southside, but they wouldn't do it, man.
Oh yeah, they might be scared, but it's okay.
Yeah, well,
the Cubs are better anyway, so it's all.
So Chad saying Louisiana. Okay.
We have a couple links for Josh down below. Yep. Definitely check out Break the Cycle. It is a good podcast. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed it. And check that out. Is there anything else you'd like to plug, Josh?
My Twitter, just follow me at Joshua at Large. That's, I'm at war with the blue checks there. It's always fun. They haven't kicked me off yet. I also have a Facebook page, the Break the Cycle with Joshua Smith. I'm on Odyssey at Break the Cycle with Joshua Smith. Twitch, Break the Cycle 83. And I'll be restreaming soon to like 20 platforms with my stream. So, but right now the stream is up, live streams on YouTube, obviously, until they throw me off. Actually, was just able to monetize today, so that's exciting. And then the stream automatically syncs to Odyssey. So those are the two places you can actually watch the live videos or the recorded replay of the live video. And then I'm on every single podcast app. I usually get the audio up within the next morning. So definitely follow me, man. Subscribe. So I appreciate you guys.
Yes. Also subscribe here.
Yeah.
And like and share. Remember, 2 shares to speed the spread of this podcast. That's what we've been saying that for several months now. That's our
I might have to steal that from you guys. I'll give you credit at the end of the show.
2 shares to speed the spread. You know,
Yeah.
if everybody just shares it twice, you know, this thing will spread like a motherfucker. And go to our Patreon and go to the Teespring store and grab a shirt. We have the Make Anarchy Great Again hoodie and switch and t-shirts as well as the one that Marcus is holding up right now. And with
this one is the I'm a libertarian leaning anarchist.
That's my man right there.
And,
I love that one.
Just a shameless plug. Go to @TopLobster on Twitter and follow this man. He's amazing. This is my Epstein didn't kill himself shirt that he made me. So.
Top Lobster also said the what was it, like Vote Noda shirt was he was trying to plug that one earlier.
Yeah, that's the Break the Cycle shirt. That's my shirt. It says Break the Cycle on it, nice. and then it's got the Noda sign across the front of it.
Asking you to plug it, and you didn't plug it. We tried it. We even put it up on the screen and everything. Hopefully everybody saw it. But for the audio audience, now you know. Go to the go to the store there and buy those shirts from Josh as well.
Yeah. And by the way, if anybody goes to Top Lobster, I know I should probably be promoting your shirts first. So go buy Aquarian Anarchy shirts first, and then go to toplobster.com and use BTC at checkout, and you get a 10%
there
discount.
You go. Hey, 10% discount for using the crypto. All right.
Well, it's Break the Cycle. BTC.
BTC is the code.
That was by design. That was by design.
That's beautiful.
And nobody understands that. I just finally Spike Cohen goes, "Hey, I just realized Break the Cycle BTC." I'm like, "Oh, you just got that, huh?"
Nice.
I just got it. I'm not gonna fucking lie. I mean, I'm fucking. I didn't know. I didn't know till you told me.
Good. Well, I'm glad everyone's starting to figure it out.
Shout out to Bring the Pain and Chris Rock. But anyway, so with that, I guess we'll finally let you go.
Stay free, people.
Yes, stay free, my friends. Peace.